many designations, it was easier for me to question. If you're born in one place, you grew up, everybody's like you, the same color, the same thing, then what's the problem? But I didn't have that problem, thanks Krishna. So, 18 years old, I'm there searching and talking to my grandfather, he was a saintly person. He was an Orthodox Jew, classical with a beard and the way he dressed, and he was quite an inspiration, and my grandmother was a love personified. So I found in them something that was extremely attractive, but at the same time, my questions, the most crucial questions, were not answered to my satisfaction. So, one day, to make this long story short, I'm going to visit Solomon. Solomon and I grew up together in Caracas. He was in the first floor of the building, and I was in the third with my family. And he happened to be in front of the Tel Aviv University, and then I decided to go and visit him. And in fact, I used to visit him practically every week. He was studying there Hebrew and preparing to get into the university. So I went to visit him, and while I am there, I hear that somebody's knocking at the door. And I go and I open the door, and here I find a very thin fellow with long hair, quite white. You know, he was like Nordic type of person, but he was interesting. Thin and short. And he said, "Hello, my name is Roberto, and I'm coming from India, and I heard that some South American Spanish-speaking people are here. Do you mind if I stay here tonight? Because I'm leaving tomorrow to Argentina, and I have no place to stay. Is it possible to stay here?" So it wasn't my room, so I went and he said, "Yeah, oh yes, please come." So he took the guitar, just spontaneously, took the guitar that was there, and he started to play. Who are you? You know? And I went, "So tell me about you." "Well, I'm coming again from India." "What were you doing there?" "You know, truth and reality. It's important, especially when we are humans, because only humans can resolve the problem. Animals can't do that." I said, "Yeah, that sounds reasonable." So we ended up at 2 o'clock in the morning under the stars, the roof of the building, and gradually he took Solomon and me to a conversation that was amazing. At the end, I was like desperate, and I said, "Okay, what is real and what is truth?" And he just smiled and he said, "I only know that my hands are made of water and cannot grasp anything. But one day, the seed of reality will be sown, and then the fruit will be the sweet love of God." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't understand anything you're saying." "What is that? What's the meaning?" Well, it came a point where, you know what, let's go to sleep, because he was using metaphors and similes, but it was intriguing because it was not going directly to what I was questioning. But he left it for later on, that's what I thought. And I was right, but I will tell you how. We're going to sleep, and then I take my bed, Solomon his bed, and he had a sleeping bag. So he goes and sleeps. "Okay, let's turn off the light." And I don't know why, I asked him, "Hey, Roberto, do you do yoga?" I could have asked him, I don't know what yoga really is, but I said, do you do yoga? And he sat down and he said, yes, Bhakti yoga, but please don't ask me anything else. All right? He could have said anything in Aramaic. And it was just, what is Bhakti? I don't know what yoga is, but to speak of Bhakti yoga. So he didn't solve my problem or my intrigue. He just added more to my curiosity. Anyways, I was a bit frustrated at that time. Because, I mean, he either answers me or not, Bhakti yoga. So I wasn't going to go, well, what is Bhakti yoga? And so, let's sleep. Maybe tomorrow, before he goes, we can have a conversation. Sadly for me, he left. I couldn't say goodbye to him. He really impressed me. I decided to go to my grandmother's house. And I went to the station and I stayed there for some time. I said, where is the bus? Oh, it's Saturday. In Israel, buses don't function. Saturday is Sabbath. Ah, okay. So let me go and get a taxi. So the taxi was available, so I walked all the way to the main street, but before that, a kiosk was on my left-hand side. You know, a classical kiosk with newspapers and with magazines and with sweets and all that, you know, classical. And that, but there was one magazine that attracted my attention. It was a face, and the face had two lines in front, in his forehead. I said, what is this? So I took the magazine, and in my third class Hebrew, I started to read, Krishna is God. I said, oh my God, another one, another God, and another path, and another tradition. But anyways, be open-minded, Havi. At that time I was not called Havi, but it's okay. The process of Bhakti yoga Bhakti yoga, it wasn't this the words that Robert, I didn't go to my grandmother's house. I went to the house of this guy. It was like 45 minutes from the place where I was. And he left me like 200 meters from his house. I ran to his house as if I was going to see my mother that I haven't seen her for who knows how many years. And it was a joy, inside joy. I said, well, hey, what's going on with you? I don't know. You know, my two selves were discussing. And then I knocked the door, and when I knocked the door, this tall fellow says, Hare Krishna. And I go, hi. So, please come in, okay? So here I go inside this house. The smell of strawberry incense. Do you remember that, Kripamoya? Spiritual sky. Do you remember that? Yeah. And then, you know, he said, please stay. You want to sit down? But I didn't see a chair. So he said, no, we usually sit on the floor. Do you really? Okay. So I sat on the floor, and of course I couldn't, you know, I was not used to sitting on the floor, so my knees were like very uncomfortable. Then he brought some fruits. Okay, where's the spoon? No, we sometimes eat with the hands. Oh, really? Oh. Tell me something, who is this blackish, bluish character painted in your wall? And he said, oh, that's Krishna. And who is Krishna? Oh, Krishna is God. Well, you mean everybody's looking for God everywhere, on the table and the moon and science, and everybody discusses traditions that they kill each other for God. Then you have God hanging on your wall. That's interesting, isn't it? So far, not so good. I was going, okay, just be open-minded. So, what's your conviction? And as soon as he started speaking, it was like he was taking me out of the closet. confirmed. And then, you know, when you're out of the closet, then you have a room, and the room has a door, and the door takes you to a hall, and then you, hey, there's another door over there, I cannot, it's the street. And then it's part of a community, that it's part of a city, part of a country, part of a continent. And that was, and for me, life was the closet. There I found my mother, my father, my identities. But this gentleman, while he was speaking, he was opening all the doors. And that was challenging for me. I tortured him. And how do you know it's so? Why do it? Parampara, immediately tradition coming from oral reception, then passed into writing. And wow, this is, but what is the name? Well, Dehinos Minjata Dehi, Kogmaranjavananjara, and then you take another body. And but yes, but where does it end? It ends when you start it. You know? You don't belong in this planet. You're trying to live happily in this world, but you're not going to get it. Because there are two entities who are struggling, you and your body. You want constant health, constant love, constant success, constant money, but it's not going to be constant because this reality changes and you don't change. You are just a witness of the change. I had to stand up. I said, this is too much. I'm going to end up like this guy. Because he was very intelligent, very profound. Until he said, come and see the temple. Oh, the temple. And then the first time I see Panchatattva. And he gives obeisances and then all images. You know what you know how we grew up in the Jewish Christian religion. You know, images are, no, you're worshiping an idol or something. And I was just observing. Anyways, the war started in Israel, surprise. And my parents took me to Venezuela, but I took with me the Bhagavad Gita, the Macmillan Bhagavad Gita, the blue one, the first one Prabhupada published, and then the first canto of the Bhagavatam that was divided into 4 different or 5 different, with 3. Oh, thank you for correcting me. It was like life-changing. But how life-changing it is that I started to share this with my friends and my acquaintances, and we started to gather in places and we were chanting Hare Krishna, and until devotees came. But the rest of it, or the rest of that part, I will go on after our next kirtan. Would you like to sing another kirtan? Yes.